You understand what I just said? You got to run through a wilderness. It's a new place that he's never been. Because why? Because sometimes life will take you to a place you've never been.
Yes.
And it's complicated.
It is.
All of a sudden, watch, he's out in the middle of the wilderness. What are you doing out here, Moses? It's complicated.
That's right.
He's in a place he's never been before. And I got to tell you something. It's going to be a challenging place for Moses. Why? Because when you've been raised in the palace, all your training in the palace won't amount to a hill of beans.
That's right. Preach it, preacher. That's right.
You ever notice how you're having incredible victory in one area of your life? Like it's amazing. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Woo! and then you turn around and over here, all hell is breaking loose in the place of your life.
All right.
Am I the only one, or have you been there?
No, I've been there.
It's like you celebrate over here, and before the celebration even through, you turn around and there's bombs dropping on the other side.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. There's a place where it just all. Here's the deal. Watch Moses, because he goes through the same thing later on. He's going to take the children of Israel out of Egypt. Who knows the story? They come through the Red Sea. That's an amazing day. They have such an amazing day. They have a Pentecostal party, and it ain't even Pentecost yet. Miriam grabs the tambourine. Now come on, the horse and the rider have been thrown into the sea. Pharaoh and all his army are drowned, and they are celebrating. They are dancing. Yes, I've been dancing. And all over the place they shout, and they're dancing, and they're celebrating, and it's a victorious time. And it isn't just a couple of them. There's 1.5 to 2 million of them. That's a party. And right in the middle of the party, somebody said, okay, what are we going to eat now?
That's probably you.
Am I right or not? Feed us. There's 2 million of us and we're hungry. I'm talking about complicated backgrounds. I'm talking about challenges that we face in life. And right in the midst of it, life will take you someplace you've never been before.
Yes.
So Moses is in the desert. He meets up with a Midianite. It's a group of girls, and he takes care of them. How'd you get back so soon? They asked their dad speaking to him. His name's Jethro. So what happens is Jethro invites Moses in for dinner, and Moses comes to the house for dinner and ends up staying there. And you know what? What I look at in the midst of this, and I think it's cool. I think that Jethro. Thank God for Jethro. Why? Because Moses is clueless in the desert. He has absolutely no clue how to survive in the desert. Why? Because when you grow up in the palace, you ain't got a clue what's going on in the desert.
That's right.
He got to read Jethro's book called Desert for Dummies. And he got the book, and he's trying to read. Eat this, don't eat that. You can drink juice from this cactus. Don't touch that cactus. That snake won't hurt you. That snake will kill you. Stay away from that. Stay away from all snakes. Because in the midst of it all, come on, because he has absolute. Oh. I've had some times in my life where my spiritual gift was cluelessness. And I was flowing in it. There's challenges all around. He's got you know what I love about it? When you're walking through the tough places in your life, start looking for the Jethros that God's bringing into your path.
Come on.
Because there'll be some Jethros that he's going to bring into your path.
Yes.
There's some Jethros that he'll bring into your life. I believe there's some Jethros that God's lining up for you. Why? When you're walking through the tough places and you don't know how to navigate. Why? Because we can get challenged with a lot of this stuff. So in the midst of that, they're challenged and they're going through some tough places. And Moses is in a clueless place and he's trying to figure out how to survive in the desert. You know why? Because when you enter into a new arena, you've got to come humble.
Wow, yes.
When you enter into a new arena, a place you've never been before, you're going to have to come humble. Why? Because you become a student again. And you've got to learn. So I think about this kind of stuff. See, you might be the prince of Egypt, but it's no big deal in the desert.
That's
There's
right.
some challenging places.
Yeah.
So watch. In the desert, you do what you got to do to learn what you got to learn. You talk about stinky sheep and stepping in sheep dung and the backside of the desert. And you got a little devil on your shoulder saying, "Where's your God now?" Who's been there?
Yes.
Come on, when you're going through your stuff, you know what I'm saying? The devil's on your shoulder. Well, where's your God now?
That's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah, I
right.
thought God had you covered. Well, what
That's
about
it.
this? And what about, come on, because the devil
Been there,
talks to you,
heard
say,
that,
what does
right?
me? But there's challenges in the midst of all that. And you got to ask yourself the question, man, am I ready to stand and walk through this thing? You know why? Because I think God's going to take everything you've been through and everything you're going
That's
through.
right.
He will.
Two things in mind. Your good and His glory.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes,
Your good
yes.
and His glory. Don't miss that.
No.
If you catch anything today, catch this. No matter what I'm going through, God's going to use it for His good.
Oh,
and my
hallelujah.
good and His glory.
Yes.
My good and His glory. That's what's on His heart. I believe
Thank
that with
you,
all my
Jesus.
life.
Thank
Now
you,
watch. 40 years in the desert. And at the end of that 40 years in the desert, Moses has an epiphany. I love the epiphany. Come on, he's 80 years old, and all of a sudden the lights come on. He has this epiphany. He's walking through the backside of the desert, and God shows up in a way he never expected God to show up.
Yes.
Who's ever had God show up in a way you didn't expect him to show
yes.
up? It was
Come
like, come on,
on.
because if you're like me, and you're going through the tough place, you are explaining to God the best way he can get you out.
That's
Come
right.
on, you've done it.
Yep.
Because we do this. We process. God, if you do this and this, then that happens, and you can do this, and boom, we're out of here.
Yeah.
I have had so many amazingly good ideas, and God hasn't used any of them. I'm really frustrated about it, too. Because I've given God some
Yeah, I know
good
it.
stuff, man. He's going to like, oh, my goodness. I just let you know this. God's not needing your good ideas. I've given him a
Right.
lot. 40 years in the desert, that's epiphany. Wasn't praying for it, wasn't looking for it, wasn't speaking in tongues over it, wasn't waving flags and banners over a bush till it caught fire. You know what happened? It just showed up.
It does.
I love when God just shows. It's one of them suddenlies. You know why?
Yes.
Because God's the master of suddenlies.
Yes, He
Like
is.
suddenlies keep happening all over the place. It's like you just turn around, boom, it was there. It was like God was just sneaking up on him. I
Yeah.
like to call him Jehovah Sneaky.
Sneaky.
He sneaks up. Come on, and it just come on, and it shows up, and out of that place, amazing things start to transpire. But I want to walk you through just a couple of things real quick. Because I think there's some things that are real important. I think that God was doing some stuff in their life. Go with me to Exodus chapter 3. I'll show you a couple of things.